it is potentially going to be a tale of two managers. So if you're just joining us for the first time, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're hitting great heights, and I want to thank you all for 3,000 subs. So we're going to 3,200. Just a few subscribers to get to 3.2, right? But thank you so much for following up, for watching, for joining us on this journey that we started a couple years ago, and we will not fail you. Unfortunately, we were not able to do the live watch along for the Arsenal game to actually enjoy, the fun part of just doing content and all of that. But yeah, sorry for that. And unfortunately, we're not going to be doing the live watch along for this one. But yeah, we're going to review the game. We're going to preview the game. We're going to analyze everything, tactics, and all of that. And if you noticed, you would have understood that we started to do kind of like tactical analysis as to how Michael Carrick, has defeated two teams. We tried it against Man City, and now we did it against Arsenal. And I noticed that most of you kind of liked it, and long may it continue. So we're going to continue to do it. Gonna bring you some tactical insights into Michael Carrick, and obviously whoever is the next manager will also tactically analyze the manager. But let's get right to it with regards to how we're gonna approach this game against Fulham. Manchester United face Fulham on Sunday, and it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be one of those games where we want to test out how basically we will fare. I mean, in the last couple games, Man United have done really well, especially in the last 6. We have not lost in the Premier League, but in the last 7 games we've lost 1 and drawn 3 and won 3. Yeah, so it's going to be super interesting to see how things pan out with regards to the game and all of that. Yeah, it was quite interesting that Man United came up with the goods against Arsenal, and we've beaten Arsenal and Manchester City, and you already know how we feel about that. So in this game, in this one, we're going to analyze basically how, Man United is going to face Fulham. And in truth, it is an interesting game. Like, I'm not going to lie, based off of like how things have panned out with regards to how Fulham have played, as well as how Man United fared against Fulham the last time. We could look at the head-to-head, we could look at the tactical analysis and all that. But we're going to give you some insights before we give you those tactical analysis with regards to head-to-head and historical context and stuff. So let's take a ride, So welcome to United Talks podcast again. We'll continue to build momentum. We'll continue to build, energy, and continue to try to see how, we can, like I said to you, and I've said several times, Michael Carrick is one manager that I think many people can back because he's just a nice guy, right? So, but then we had Arsenal fans eating their words last week, and Michael Carrick is doing it twice in his career as a Manchester United manager, defeating Arsenal back-to-back times of facing Arsenal, and it's actually he has defeated Arteta. So let's get right to it. So the match insights with regards to this game, before we go to those head-to-head and historical context, is that Man United beat Arsenal 3-2 away on Sunday, which is the first win at the league the first win at the Emirates since March 2021. I thought it was October 2017, but it's actually March 2021. Wow, okay. And then you have Bruno Fernandes, who leads the Premier League with 62 chances created this season. Like, that is absolutely astounding, man. He played deep, he led the Premier League. He's playing ahead, he's leading the Premier League in assists and in chances created. Bruno Fernandes also leads the Premier League for big chances created with 15. And Michael Carrick's first 2 wins against the Premier League's top 2 means that basically we potentially should have momentum for this game. And for Fulham, they sit 7th, but ranked 15th in XG table, up overperforming by 8 positions, right? Fulham also haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 6 matches, which is also a good advantage for us. And then Fulham beat Chelsea 2-1 and drew Liverpool 2-2 in their last 3 home games, but they're facing us away. So it's going to be super interesting as well. Now we're going to look at the head-to-head. I always bring up my dashboards and stuff. So I think I have 2 dashboards today. I have 2 dashboards today. So basically, this is the first one. We're going to talk about the head-to-head and historical context. We'll basically talk about it and break things down as things may be. So, yeah, Manchester United facing Fulham. So let's talk about the head-to-head and historical context. And we're just gonna basically dive deeper into like the details and stuff like that. So first, we're gonna talk about featured players with regards to Man United. Um, Most matches played, basically, Luke Shaw has the most. Longest he's ever played, 23 games. And Bert Leno is Fulham's own. And then we have Luke Shaw also, most minutes played. Bert Leno, same. Luke Shaw has 2006 minutes, while Bert Leno has 2017 minutes. Most yellow cards, Casemiro 6, but in the last couple of games, he hasn't gotten a yellow card. Um, Harry Wilson as well has 6 yellow cards. And then youngest, Godi Kokonki in the squad, 18, but it's not going to make the squad as well because we have a full squad now, Bryan, Patrick Dorgu. So I'm thinking if Patrick Dorgu is out the squad, then most likely going to have Shelasi come back in. We have Seth Region, who is 17 for them. I think Seth was a Man United a player that Man United was interested in, wanted to sign, and then Fulham kind of renewed his contract and gave him first team opportunities, I think. That should be oldest player is Tom Heaton, obviously 40 years, with Tom Kenny, who is 35 for Fulham. And then with regards to head-to-head in the last 5 matches, Man United have played Fulham in the last 5 matches, or overall, Man United played Fulham in all the times Man United have played Fulham. Man United have had 58 wins, 18 draws between both teams, and you have 14 wins with regards to Fulham. Like Fulham has 14 wins. And then if you go deeper into like the details, with regards to the last 5 games, there have been 2 wins for Man United, 2 draws between both teams, and 1 win for Fulham. So Fulham have won Man United once. Man United have won Fulham twice. And basically, Fulham and Man United have drawn twice in back-to-back games. Now, if you look at it again, this game has a low-scoring goal. It's a low-scoring game, basically. There has never been over 2 goals scored for each team that wins. It's just been 1-0, 1-1 and stuff. And basically, if you look at like general stats with regards to the Premier League and all competitions, in the Premier League, it's basically 10 wins between both teams, 8 draws for Man United, 4 draws for Fulham, 5 losses for Man United, least in a long time. Fulham have 9. And if you look at like recent form for both teams just in the Premier League, Man United have 3 draws and 2 wins, while Fulham have 2 draws, 1 loss, and 1 win. Their 1 loss coming against Leeds United, and their latest win coming against Brighton. And then you come to, with regards to goal progression by the minute, Man United score most of their goals between the 61st and the 75th minute, while Fulham score most of their goals between the 61st and the 75th minute. So they're both good. They're all good with late goals and stuff. Man United also scores the second best time for Man United to score, basically, is from the 46th to the 60th minute. So that's another good time for Fulham. It's around the 31st to the 45th minute, so in the first half and stuff. So it's all balanced for Man United, but for Fulham, it's totally different and not really evenly spread out because they're not so much of a high scoring team. Their offensive contributions with regards to how the players have performed. Bruno Fernandes basically has 10 assists and 5 goals, while Bryan Mbeumo has 1 assist and 9 goals. And then, in Premier League, 1 assist and 8 goals. Mateus Cunha has 2 assists and 5 goals. And Patrick Dorgu has 3 assists and 3 goals. For Harry Wilson, he has 8 goals and 4 assists. Raul Jimenez has 5 goals, 3 assists. Samuel Chukwueze has 3 goals, 4 assists. And Alex Iwobi has 2 goals and 2 assists. And on the table, Man United are ranked 4th right now with 37 points after 23 games, with goals difference of, 38 points after 23 games with a goal difference of 7 plus 7. So that's an improvement compared to last season. While Fulham are ranked 7th with 34 points and a goal difference of 0. So they've scored as much as they've conceded after 23 games. Now we look at the next bit of dashboard that we have here, basically with regards to all competitions. Like I said, in all competitions, Man United 10 wins, Fulham 13. There has been 9 draws, Fulham 5, and all of that. Then, if you look at all competitions with regards to the last 5 games for both teams, Man United have 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. Fulham have 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. That's including like the FA Cup and all of those things. They had a draw against Liverpool. All things being equal, when you look at the performance of players in all competitions, Bruno has 11 assists and 5 goals, while Harry Wilson has 9 assists, 9 goals and 5 assists, while Bryan Mbeumo has 1 goal, 1 assist and 9 goals. Raul Jimenez has 6 goals and 3 assists. And then Matheus Cunha has 2 goals, 5 assists. 2 assists, 5 goals. While Samuel Chukwueze has 3 goals and 4 assists. And then Benjamin Sesko has 5 goals and 1 assist. While, that's interesting, Sesko has 5 goals, 1 assist in all competitions. While Emile Smith-Rowe has 5 goals and no assists. With regards to team ranks, Man United ranks 3rd in goals, 41 goals scored, better than last season. And then shots, Man United ranks 1st with 340 shots. Meanwhile, Fulham have 11th with 32 goals on the log, 9 goals shy of Man United, and then obviously 10th as well in shots, 256 assists. Man United ranked 4th with 27 assists, while Fulham had ranked 11th with 19 assists, and then obviously with saves, Man United ranked 16th with 47 assists, while Fulham ranked 13th with 55 assists and 55 shot saves for both. For yellow card, we're ranked 20th with 30, while Fulham ranked 5th with 51. So they have had so many yellow cards, and we've had the least yellow cards in the league. Then when it comes to red cards, obviously Man United ranked 9th and Fulham ranked 13th with no red cards at all. So it is super interesting how, we approach this game and what Man United is looking at or looking for. I talked about like all of the other stats you couldn't see behind the video, behind my image and stuff, which takes me to how Fulham play under Marco Silva. You remember how it happened the last game we played against them and all of those things. So we're just going to go deeply into detail and quickly just run through this. Under Marco Silva, Fulham are tactically adjustable, primarily using a 4-2-3-1 formation, but shifting flexibly into in and out of possession. Their style is a blend of possession-based build-up, rapid vertical transitions, and structured, intelligent pressing with regards to their pressing systems. And then in possession and attack, Fulham's offensive play focuses on manipulating the opposition shape to create space, particularly in wide areas. If you remember what happened with Marco Silva saying what he had to do to beat Man United in the last game. Then you have to look at formation and fluidity. They play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. And the on-the-pitch shape is fluid. In attack, it often resembles a 4-1-4-1 or a 3-2-5 with players constantly rotating positions. Their wide rotations, wide overloads are a key feature for this team. Fullbacks, wingers are critical, as well as central midfielders interchanging positions, with one providing the width and another making the underlapping run into the half space, which led to how they scored us at Craven Cottage in the beginning of the season. This movement draws up defenders and opens passing lanes, which is what Man United needs to plug up, because if you take context of how Michael Carrick has played against Man City and Arsenal, you will understand why. Then verticality through comfortable. Though Fulham are comfortable in possession, the goal is purposeful progression. Basically, they're purposely trying to progress with purpose. The team employs a quick vertical passing combinations to access the front line quickly, often bypassing the midfield pivots, which means that they will give it to players like this former Arsenal guy that I keep remembering, Alex Iwobi. So they give it to Alex Iwobi, and they use their fullbacks a lot. And with their defensive, with the way they approach the game defensively, Fulham focuses on compact, zonal, and zonal system that adapts to the opponent rather than relentless high press and all of that. They do like a mid to high block, and they press with pressing triggers, and they are defensively adaptable, switching to a 5-2-3 or 5-4-1 against stronger oppositions to ensure numerical balance and defensive coverage with wingers tracking back to support the fullbacks. With counter-pressing, upon losing the ball, the closest players immediately counter-press in packs to disrupt opposition counter-attacks and regain possession quickly. So overall, Marco Silva's Fulham is defined by its tactical versatility and the ability to adapt its opponent, its approach based on the opponent, blending structured possession with effective transitions to establish themselves as the stable Premier League side. So, which brings me to my predicted lineup for Fulham. My predicted lineup for Fulham goes like this: Brett Leno in net, and we have Calvin Bassey back in the lineup after coming back from coming third for Nigeria in the African Cup of Nations, and Anderson. And then you have Castagna playing as right back, and Robinson back from injury, played a couple games for them, coming back into left back spot. In the mid, in their 4-2-3-1 shape, they have Sanderberg, Al Sanderberger, and that's Sanderberger and Alexi Wobi. And then in the attack, they play a three-pronged attack where Kevin is going to play on the left side, while Harry Wilson is going to play on the right side, and Emile Smith-Rowe comes through the middle, or whoever they choose to play through the middle. Sometimes Iwobi does that. And then you have Raul Jimenez, the top striker, scored with 5 goals, being the spearhead of at the tip of the attack. And their key player, for me, I know why I choose this guy, because I think I rate him. He's a really good player. He's 28, coming to his own. I think he's coming to his peak as well. But I rate him because he's such a good player, and all the times I've watched Fulham, he's just the top performer. Against Chelsea, he was the guy. Against Middlesbrough, he was the guy. Even against Brighton, he was the guy. It's like this guy, and that is Harry Wilson. This guy is a top performer basically for Fulham. He's the guy that makes things happen, right? He's the key player. He's played 26 games so far this season, 1,878 minutes. He scored 9 goals. He's created 5 assists in all competitions. He scored in 3 of the last 4 games. In 3 of the last 4 games, including the FA Cup. He scored in the FA Cup, scored in the Premier League game against Chelsea, and he scored against Brighton. And he always scores bangers from outside the box. So we have to be very wary of him and careful. Now, this takes me to Manchester United, how Man United play, basically under Michael Carrick. And this is super interesting because Michael Carrick shocked everybody, including me. Under Michael Carrick, Man United play with a blend of a structured possession and direct, fast-paced counter-attacks, utilizing flexible formations and prioritizing player expression, which is typically the United way. He's pragmatic, adapting the system to the opponent, but his core principles revolve around, central control and quick transitions. The key tactical principles for Michael Carrick is basically being pragmatic and adaptable, central dominance and build up, because when he's pragmatic and adaptable, he plays a 4-2-3-1 formation as a base, but is willing to change his system significantly depending on the opponent, as seen in the use of a narrow 4-3-1-2 to nullify Chelsea's midfield in 2021, and a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 or 4-1-4-1 to kind of counter Arsenal's midfield overload, or when we want to defend in the mid block as well. There's also a narrow defensive shape when out of possession. Man United usually drop into a compact 4-4-2 or 4-5-1 mid to low block, prioritizing closing down central passing lanes over an aggressive high press, and wingers stuck inside to support the central midfielders, forcing opponents into wide, less dangerous areas. And we also exploit transitions, which is the key feature of Michael Carrick's attack. And then obviously player-oriented approach, which is centered around, just the players. With offensive and defensive setup, Man United use a lopsided fullback, especially under Michael Carrick. One fullback is often the left back, like Luke Shaw. He may tuck in to form a back three, during the build-up, as we've seen several times, allowing the other fullback, probably Diogo Dalot in this case, or a winger, to push and provide width in the attack. Then there's also the roaming playmaker, who is Bruno Fernandes, the number 10, or Mateusz Cunha. Mateusz Cunha is starting. He's given the roaming role to find space and provide through balls, making runs into the box from deep, and linking with the central midfielder and the forwards. There's also the structured defense. With defensive structure, Michael Carrick designs his defense with Tom Holland, if I'm not mistaken, he does a lot of work as well. The 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 defensive structure is designed to actually be difficult to break down by remaining vertically and horizontally compact. Midfielders like Casemiro are structured and instructed to hold their ground and screen the defense rather than just chase the ball aggressively, preventing them from being dragged out of position. So the most important thing, apart from screening the defense, is just blocking all the passing lanes. Now, with regards to that, we're going to talk about Man United's predicted lineup. With Patrick Dorgu injured, I'm going to do a separate video for that, talking about Patrick Dorgu and stuff. But with Patrick Dorgu injured right now, what does that mean? That we have to find someone to replace him, especially in the left wing spot. And he's been scoring. He scored in the last 2 games, right? So my predicted lineup goes like Son Lamens in net, and then we have Licha Martinez and Harry Maguire at the back 2. In fact, the back 4 remains the same: Luke Shaw, Martinez, Maguire, and Diogo Dalot. And then in the midfield, obviously midfield 2 stays the same. The midfield pivot of Casemiro and Kobe Mainu. And then on the flanks, we replace Patrick Dorgu with Mateusz Cunha, even though many people say, oh, he drops in, he cuts in, he comes in, he likes to come in, blah, 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 blah. But that gives the opportunity for fluidity. Him and Bruno can switch up. He can switch up with Bruno and all. It just creates opportunities for fluidity. And then for Ahmad on the right, he's just made that right wing spot his own, and he's been doing it. He's been playing underrated performances every game. And then up top, we're going to go with Bryan Mbeumo again for the 3rd game in a row. We could also see an opportunity for Benjamin Šeško to start this one, and then Bryan Mbeumo comes in as left wing back, and then Cunha comes in from the bench as a super sub, or Cunha starts, and then Mbeumo plays, and then Mbeumo comes off, or Mbeumo goes to the right wing, Ahmad gets a rest, and just because of trying to manage load, and then Šeško comes back in. So that is the predicted lineup for the game against Fulham. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is basically key player for Manchester United against Fulham. And the key player for this one is Bryan Mbeumo, considering the fact that he has scored 2 goals back-to-back, right? So Bryan Mbeumo gets the key player for this one. 2 goals back-to-back games. Basically, for a 26-year-old, 19 games played so far this season. And he's basically been our top scorer with 9 goals and 1 assist in all competitions. He's played 1,590 minutes. And that is so few minutes to play. But, I mean, to be doing good numbers, at this point of the season when we're basically in our poor run of form, that's super good for Bryan Mbeumo. And which takes me to the next key player for this game, who has been magnificent, despite the fact that we've had a bad season, and that is Bruno Fernandes. Played 22 games this season, and I've said this in another video where I said this is going to be the season where Bruno plays his least number of games in about 10 years, right? So after 22 games, 1,853 minutes, he's scored 5 goals and created 11 assists, or 12 assists? 11 or 12, one of those 2. So he's made 16 goal contributions, or 17 goal contributions, depending on which site you check off your stats. And then with regards to assists, he created an assist against City, created an assist against Arsenal, and created the assist to the assist against Arsenal as well. So in his last 2 games, he's performed really well. Played 90 minutes against Brighton in the FA Cup, and we crashed out on that Darren Fletcher. But he's been doing really, 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 really well, right? Which takes me to the next aspect of this preview, and that is basically how Manchester United can beat Fulham. And it's just pretty simple and straightforward. How can Man United beat Fulham? We're going to give you 4 strategies. Now, to defeat Fulham, Man United under Michael Carrick should focus on the following strategies, right? I don't know if Michael Carrick sees this video, but I know that he knows what he wants to do, right? So the first thing to do is to exploit the half spaces and flanks. Man United should utilize intricate passing combinations in the half spaces, like the channels between the centre back and the full back, and on the flanks, as Fulham are often vulnerable in these areas during quick transitions, using wingers like Amad Diallo, or even Cunha if he's playing on the wings, or you never can tell if Michael Carrick, I said Ruben, oh my days, because I just had an argument with somebody about Ruben just recently, but it is what it is. So if Michael Carrick wants to go all guns blazing, he could actually play he could actually play this lineup that I gave: Cunha, Mbeumo, and Ahmad, and then Bruno all behind, and go all guns blazing, right? If he wants to go all guns blazing, he's going to capitalize on the half spaces that Fulham leave, and they're often vulnerable in that areas. In those areas, utilize Mbeumo as a left winger and Ahmad as a right winger, and interchange them when you need, and utilize Cunha as the striker, right? And they can interchange, they can become fluid and press, pressing triggers and stuff. Cunha is good with hold up play, and he's also good with driving the ball forward as well. So that could also work. And then, Ahmad can provide those deep crosses and runs, which can be effective. You can also play Ahmad on the reverse position as well, playing him as the left wing back, or left back, no, not left back, left wing forward or left midfielder, depending on how you see it. And then obviously, for us to also be able to capitalize on Fulham, that's the second point, is to launch quick transitions and counterattacks. Fulham commits players forward in the attack, which leaves them exposed on the break. United, with their strength in counter-attacking, should aim to move the ball quickly into the final third after winning possession, utilizing the pace of their forwards like Bryan Mbeumo, Mateusz Cunha, if possible, Benjamin Sesko, when the time comes. And then, obviously, the third strategy to defeat Fulham is overloading the central midfield by creating numerical superiority in the midfield with players like Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and Casemiro in that midfield, overloading their midfield. Obviously, they're going to have Emile Rowe drop back. They're going to have Alex Iwobi play centrally as well. So United must bypass Fulham's central pairing, which can be left exposed when one pivot steps out to press, right? And then obviously that one pivot that steps out to press is usually Alex Iwobi, and then Sander Berger kind of drops deep, right? The next strategy, or the fourth and final strategy, is to force horizontal shifts and switch plays quickly. Fulham commits many players to the ball side, which makes them vulnerable to quick switches of play. So Man United can exploit the space created on the opposite flank before Fulham's defense can reorganize by using diagonal passes and long balls. Those are the strategies that Man United can capitalize on Fulham, on defeating Fulham and all of that. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about how Man United can approach this game and everything in between. My prediction for this game is that Man United is going to win this game, seeing as we're at Old Trafford, 2-1. And then obviously it's going to be a very interesting game. Fulham are going to want to be fast-paced. Obviously, they actually don't know how they're going to play us, because obviously Michael Carrick has only played 2 games, and he's played those 2 games differently, Manchester City and Arsenal. So you can't say, his strategy, or how he's going to approach the game. So Man United need to capitalize on the opportunities right in front of us, so we don't have to fall to Fulham as well. They can find ways to score goals, even like when Raul Jimenez, gets on his bike. It's very easy for him to score. So, but he's had less goals. The person I'm particularly wary of is Harry Wilson. Like, that guy just scores banger left, right, and center. He just finds his way at the edge of the box. His goals come from mostly the edge of the box, so we need to capitalize on that. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. Put your predictions, your score predictions, your predicted lineup, put it in the comment section, and we'll have conversations as well. Do not forget to follow us on all social media platforms, and like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at United Talks Pod. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.